second day. Afternoon. So we've gotten a little bit done here since we finished the roof. We did the floor. By that I mean we just brought in a bunch of gravel from our pile and we laid down about 2 inches there. Once the floor was pretty filled in and level with dirt, we piled in about an even 2 inches. We still haven't leveled it out completely, but we're going to do that after we finish with these walls here. We wanted the concrete to come flush up against the bamboo down there. As you can see, we're putting in these smaller bamboo pieces and we're attaching them to these cross members here. And basically what we're doing is putting in a couple cross members on the bottom to make sure it's held really well there, and then we're bringing it up here to the top. And on this wall it's going to be a little bit different than the others. A lot of the rain kind of gets blown this way a little bit. The wind is normally coming from either that direction or that direction, although it does kind of blow from every direction. It's mostly consistent from this area coming down off the hills there. Obviously there's a low pressure being created by that mountains. The ocean is on the other side of that ridge. So what we're doing here in this wall is it's going to kind of curve in a little bit. On the top it's bowed out and then it kind of comes in and goes straight down. So I'm tying all these. They're still green, so they're a little bit more malleable. And I've already got a good start here. I've got about a foot in. It's taken 7 pieces to do that. So I'm estimating we'll need around 300 pieces total. And we're not going to do all the walls completely top to bottom, but what I'm sitting on is going to eventually be where our bed is located. And so what we want to do here is have the bamboo come up all the way, and then from here to the top of the roof in a triangle shape we're going to have tin up there, and then there'll probably be a wall of tin right here as well, just kind of shield us from the elements and make the bed a little bit more cozy. And then from here down we're going to have this similar type of wall. So this wall is going to go to the end of the bed and then it's going to stop. We're going to have a window right there, and then we're also going to have a window below that. In the window we're still going to put bamboo, but it's going to be kind of crossed with about 6 inches in between the bamboo, so you kind of got a little bit more of a viewing area. It'll also let the building flow a little bit more air coming in, and then we'll likely put some sort of mesh over that, probably not too thick. This area isn't totally laden down with mosquitoes. There are mosquitoes, obviously they're everywhere here in the Philippines, but it's only really in the morning around the sunrise, and in the evening just before and after sunset is when the mosquitoes are around. Obviously this building is not going to be mosquito proof, but we are going to do some things to mitigate that. We're going to be planting lemongrass all around the exterior of the building, and that's going to help keep the mosquitoes out. They don't really like the smell of lemongrass, so that'll mitigate them quite a bit. And we're just going to sleep under a mosquito net. So this is more to keep the other things out, like snakes. It's really tight on the bottom, so we're not going to have any snakes coming in, and it's also going to keep people out and give us a little bit of privacy, and dogs and the other bigger critters that are around here. So not mosquito proof, but it'll definitely shelter us from the harsh wind. If it gets blown really good, it'll keep us protected from the other elements and also some of the bigger critters and reptiles and stuff. So I'm just going along here. I've already tied there, and I've basically am just tying these as needed to these 2 posts below me. Each one will be tied to this top post, and then in order to keep them all in line, I'm twisting wire in between them and pulling them tight. And I'm doing that a variety of ways. I'm weaving it here, and then where it's needed I'm adding extra wires to pull them tight. So if there's a spot where the bamboo is kind of gapped, I'll just twist 2 wire around those 2 pieces only to kind of pull them together. And then down at the very bottom, obviously I'm also twisting the wire in between to make sure it's really tight down there so we don't have any snakes coming in the house here. So right now I kind of loosely attached all these just to make sure I had them in the right order. And now I'm going to be tying them down more securely and also tying them to ones that are kind of next to it if needed to pull them nice and tight. So I'm just getting them snug here but not completely tight because I want to make sure that they can move a little bit. So I'm just kind of pulling them within a ½ inch to an inch away from this. And then once I've got them kind of tightened up against that, I can use some of these other wires here as needed to pull them together, so that way they're nice and tight. So I've been switching back and forth. If one of them's kind of like a little wider at the bottom and a little bit thinner on the top, then I reverse the next one. I put the thicker part on the top with the thinner part on the bottom. And I'm working with a long strand here. All these wires are different sizes, so I'm not really pre-cutting this wire. And I'm trying not to get too far ahead so that I can still reach around and bend the wire in if I need to. So these two are have a little bit of a gap. So I just pull it in, connect it, cut the wire. Use the wire to pull these two together. I think the other pliers that had a wider mouth were working a little bit better than these ones. Sometimes they have a tendency for the jaws to slip from each other. Just making sure these are all nice and tight, and then once I've got them secured there, tighten it against the post. This being the post I'm referring to. And we're gonna have tin right here too, so I'm not too worried about it. If we didn't have tin there, then I definitely want to be cutting all this bamboo on the top side so that there wasn't like tubes that the water could fill in. Because that would just make a great breeding ground for mosquitoes. So it looks like I'm gonna kind of have to put some more thicker pieces up top because I notice they are all kind of starting to lean this way a little bit. There's a pretty good gap between these two right here, so I'm going to go ahead and come down a little bit lower, add a wire in there. as I add more pieces, I'll just keep leaving that. It's kind of better if you do it as you go. It makes it a little bit easier to do, and you can also use this to kind of pull them tight to each other. So just kind of some things I've been doing here. I'm not really sure if this is the best way to do it or the easiest way, but it's definitely making for a pretty strong wall here of bamboo, and I'm assuming it's going to last for, you know, the foreseeable future, 5 to 10 years, I'd say at least. It's kind of going to depend on the quality of this wire, how fast that wants to rust out and stuff. It seems like it does rust pretty quickly once it gets wet, and that's kind of why I'm putting the twisted side on the inside. I had originally think about putting them on the outside, just kind of add a little layer of protection, but then I thought about birds landing on them and also the rust being exposed to the rain. That side would rust quite a bit faster, so I decided to put them on the inside, and I've just been bending them over so they don't become a hazard to me later if I'm up here working around, because the ends are pretty sharp on them. So yeah, kind of quick. We're gonna go through and do some more here, and we'll keep you updated as we go. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, so we got the walls coming along pretty good. See, we're gonna have a window right there. Then we'll put more above that, and then there'll be tin across the top. I've just been using tie wires. Basically, I was doing every other bamboo stick on here, and then the other one down here, every other one, and then tying them together as needed. And it's turned out pretty good. Kind of what it looks like from the outside. So definitely shelter us from the rain, and it'll help keep the wind out when it's, help keep the wind out and help keep the rain out when it's windy as well. So probably put some tapestry on the inside, kind of get a little bit more privacy, but we'll just see how it goes. So we're just going to finish this up today, and then start a little bit on that side, and we're going to do tin all the way down to the top of the bed here, just to really shelter us from the elements and give us good privacy on the side with the road there. So, but yeah, it's turned out pretty cool. It looks aesthetically kind of pleasing, actually. But yeah, it's about everything we've done today is just piling all this gravel in here and stamping it down, getting ready to lay some concrete. And then I wanted to put this bamboo wall up first, that way I got something to put the concrete right up against the wall there. And then on the outside we're just going to pile a bunch of rocks. You can see where we kind of started in that corner. We're just going to move them up against the bamboo, pile the rocks up against that, and then dump a little bit of concrete between the rocks and the bamboo to kind of lock those in, and then make a little ditch along the outside here, so that'll keep the water from trying to wash everything away, because definitely can get pretty rainy here. As we saw over the past couple days, we're still flooded in right now. We can't go to town because the road's like totally washed out. But yeah, should be supposed to be drying up the next couple days, so we'll see how it turns out.